Where is Raven on the tier list for PvE? Let's talk a little bit about that, on her placement and the complete build, and in my opinion if it's worth pulling or not. As usual, hello there, welcome back to the Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict. Today's topic, everyone's favorite, the new mommy in the game, Raven. I'm trying to go for MLB, I'm trying to do singles to get one more copy, and I will ticket the last one. But so far, no luck. That's it. Let's talk a little bit about her placement on the tier list, what's going on with her, my recommendation on how to properly build her, investment on the lines, on the cube, team compositions, and everything else. As usual, leave a like, subscribe, have a go to the channel, and let's get started directly, not wasting time, alright, with the tier list. Where is Raven? Sefhi, where have you decided to put a new mommy? And as you can see, simple, and I think most people can agree, she is the new T0 character. Congratulations to the mommy. No BS. Absolute BS. So, why is she a T0 rather than a T1 in contrast to, for example, characters that could be considered almost as strong, if not equally strong, right? Let's say maybe a Bridi, depending on the composition. Let's say the Mihara, depending on the composition. Let's say even Fight Asuka, right? Depending on what you're doing. Why is she a T0 rather than a T1 character? So let's talk a little bit about damage numbers, where she is right now. So we can understand a little bit more. I did this test on Tarsis' account because my account, as you can see, is not fully invested yet and she sucks. I got one attack, elemental, and one elemental, one ammo. This is not enough, this is not really good investment, it's pretty bad honestly. But I did this test on Tarsis' account, so that's it. Let's check her damage numbers so we can understand why she's a T0 rather than a T1 character. First of all, I was running a test with Alice and then checking where she is. Right? A normal basic team, Siren, Crown, Helm. And then a DPS and a support / DPS, aka Alice. As you can see, SBS is doing 2.6. A really well invested SBS with 318k combat power versus a Raven with only one copy, not MLB, 276k combat power, 2.3. Also, Alice doesn't benefit Raven just like she does for SBS. SBS scales directly with charge speed, Raven doesn't. When she applies her stacks, it's dot damage, nothing else. That's a 2.3 versus a 2.6, that is fantastic. This is neutral content, by the way. Then I want to test the Pensa Rapid Red Hood, and as you can see, a 2.2 versus a 2.8. And again, 310k combat power on Rappi, 276 on Raven. And then I did one with Mihara. As you can see, Mihara is doing 2.1 versus 2.2. And this is what I was saying earlier, but wait, Sefhi, how is a character, like Mihara a T1 while Raven is a T0? The biggest problem with Mihara, which I should change this for on the notes, should be a 7 right now, is that on single target, she's fantastic. Anytime you need to actually be doing AoE damage or clear mobs fast or anything else, she sucks. She sucks. That is her biggest problem, which is basically just like if. Raven on the other side, her burst is pretty good. It's not like an amazing AoE clear or anything, but at least she has the clear, she has the dot damage, and she can apply this to multiple enemies, so it's a lot better. The other thing is that she doesn't have to worry about anywhere where she is being a slot. She can be used on any team composition, which helps a lot, and she is catching up to even characters like Wasuka. My test on the Wasuka account wasn't the best. In fact, Raven was doing a lot more damage because Tarsis Wasuka is not fully invested. So that said, she's catching up to most meta DPS characters. I can see the argument on people saying she's T1, because a lot of the DPSs here on T0 are there because they provide something else, not just pure damage. The only one that's here just for the pure damage, we could say, is gonna be Cinderella, right? It's a fucking amazing character. You could say Wasuka, but she's also used as a secondary DPS that can be slotted into any team, and SBS because her clear on a hard mode campaign, it's fantastic. But for example, Red Hood, versatility she provides, Rappi, B1, B3, Helm, all the buffs and everything else, and Alice, not only DPS, but also support character, right? So I would put Raven more close to SBS and Asuka and Cinderella rather than the other characters that have something else to provide. But that's why I put her on T0. That's about the tier list. Let's talk a little bit about how to properly build your Raven. The first thing, of course, skills. The skills are pretty simple for her. It's a 10 for 10. I can't see the argument as to level 7 on skill 2, but the reality is that you don't get that much. So at level 4, as you can see, it's a 34%. At level 10, it's not even 50%, it's 47%, I believe. So it's less than 10% increase sustained damage for all the resources that it costs to take to level 10. In my opinion, level 4 is more than enough, but I can see some people putting level 7 as a recommendation. As for the skills, for the gear, super simple character to build too. Elemental and attack, nothing else. You don't care about nothing else. You should be able to get, or you should be looking out for max ammo line capacity, maybe 2, so you can get 10 bullets. If you can get 10 bullets, that is better than getting charge speed. She doesn't benefit with charge speed like we were saying earlier compared to SBS. The moment she applies her 10 stacks, she's a character that is going to be doing constant damage all the time. These stacks, you should be able to 100% sustain them as long as, like I was saying earlier, you either get 10 bullets or enough charge speed, which I feel is a lot more expensive to go for like 4 lines of charge speed rather than 2 lines of max ammo. But then again, it's pure RNG on the rocks. That's it about the equipment and the skills. What about the cube? Well, she is really slow girl. 2-second reload time and 1-second charge time speed. Always resilient. There is no situation where you want to go anything else. Resilience is the key. You could be going Bastion if you are using mates, if you're using Crown for the reload speed, but sometimes you are not going to be bursting and it's just going to take 2 seconds to reload. And in those situations, you're losing a lot of damage and you are losing stacks most likely as well. So I would go with that. Now that's it. Let's talk a little bit about the pros that I put on the website as well. Because as you can see, it's a 10 for 10 like I was saying earlier. It's the resilience cube with elemental and attack plus couple lines of max ammo. So you can fully stack your skill 1 before you have to reload. What about the pro Sefhi? What is she right now? Well, first of all, she's a character that is cheap to build, right? Cheap to build damage dealer in both gear and skills, like we were saying earlier. This is always an advantage because you don't have to worry a lot about resources and how expensive it's going to be versus building something like Eve, for example. Eve is really expensive if you want to min-max her damage, while Raven is going to be overall for most people a lot cheaper in terms of rocks use. Next is after shift up fixer sustain damage on skill 1, one of the strongest damage dealers in the game, even on neutral content. I'm not saying she's stronger than Cinderella, she's not. I'm not saying she's stronger than Rapid Red Hood, I don't think she is. But she is clearly getting close to all of these meta characters we have, right? Probably top 10 right now, 100%. I don't think it's a top 5, but the top 10, 100%. And then easy to slot into any team composition. As a DPS, her personal buffs are not that big, so any support will work with her. And this also pairs a little bit with team compositions a little bit. Because when we talk about team compositions, she can fill with anyone. On the teams we were running, she was benefiting the most from Litter, because again, she doesn't have any good buffs on her own. So when you get any supporter that is increasing more attack or more attack damage or sustained damage, it will always benefit her more. So she can be slotted into any team, it doesn't really matter. She's a pretty selfish DPS, which is sometimes good, depending on the compositions and depending on the content that you're running. But that said, that is the pros that I put, and that is my reasoning as to why, for now, Raven is a T0 character, while Eve stays on a T1. I know some people are also saying Eve should be lower, and again, I can see a lot of changes being made up or down or nitpicking, but for now, she stays there. That said, that's gonna be for this video, just a short one on how I will be building her, and if you should be pulling for her or not, which clearly you should get at least one copy 100%. MLB is not worth it, don't be like me, don't be a gambling addict. And I was like, oh, I'm feeling 2 copies today, I spent money, got nothing. Don't be like me, don't be a gambling addict. 1 copy, more than enough pesos. That's it, that's gonna be for this video. As usual, we're live every single day. Link in the description down below. Good luck with your pool dinner dates. I'll see you in the next one.